Hello there guys, it's Charlotte here and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build on this channel. Today's speed build is actually something I have never done before on this channel, and actually come to think about it, I don't think I've ever done one ever in the history of playing Sims and building stuff in Sims, which is pretty weird to think about because I do a whole lot of building and I have in the past, and yeah, I don't know, it's a nice change and it's something that I thought I'd get into since I've been watching a ton of them on YouTube at the moment. And I guess I should probably tell you guys what it is if you haven't been able to tell by the title. It is a Sims 4 shell challenge. So for you guys who don't know what it is, a shell challenge is basically a shell of literally just walls that someone builds in the Sims 4, constructing some sort of building, and it's normally got no interior walls, it's just kind of like the outer shell of a building. And the challenge is you have to create some sort of building. I think normally it's kind of like build a house out of it, but I guess you can make any sort of community lot or anything like that. And the catch is you're not able to move any of the exterior walls, which is exciting, because it just really makes it a little bit more difficult. And the reason why I ended up really liking doing this was it made me a lot more experimental in kind of what kind of build I was making and how many rooms I was going to put in, because this shell was quite a big one. And just to let you know, if you guys are wondering what shell this is Vixella's Shell on YouTube. I really liked it. It's a massive shell, and I just kind of wanted to challenge myself in making a larger build, because if you guys follow me on YouTube and you have a look at my other builds, they typically are the smaller ones. Like on average, probably they're kind of like a 2-person house, and there's normally like 1 bedroom and just like 1 bathroom, 1 living space and 1 kitchen. But with this, it kind of pushed me to make a larger build, which I think ended up looking quite good, but you guys are gonna have to stay tuned for that. But yeah, it was really exciting. So basically how I approached this was I kind of went into the shell, decided where to put the stairs first of all, because obviously that's a make or break thing. You don't want to kind of plan out the layout and then be like, oh shit, where am I putting the stairs? But then I decided to divide up the rooms and try and keep in my head what I thought could go where. So like what I wanted to be a living space, what I wanted to be bedrooms, bathrooms, etc. So here at the moment, as you can see, I was working on the kitchen, which I put at the back of the house. I also had already put in a few windows. I did end up changing the colour on those, but I just kind of wanted to get a really nice general layout of the exterior. Of course, I put BB move objects on to make everything slide in and look really nice together. And yeah, I find it quite challenging making large kitchens, and I never do make them large because I don't know, I feel like you end up having like loads of counter space and things like that, and I don't know, I just like never know really what to do with it, but as you will see, I did have quite a fun time organising it and kind of coming up with loads of different things to put on the counters. I really did like what I did here with putting a kind of island counter in the middle. I didn't want to put chairs around it, I kind of wanted it to be a sort of thing where Sims use it as counter space to prepare meals instead of having a sit down area, and there still was a little bit of room at the base of the kitchen to have a little living space, and that's where I was going to put all the dining stuff. But as you can see, putting my classic items for kitchens, I swear I always put like the same items down, the same like miscellaneous bits and bobs. I love it. Like a little pot with all the kind of like utensils, and then like some salt and pepper stuff maybe. I did put that in that little kind of like dessert platter, which I think is so cool. I really do like that in a kitchen. It's very nice. And of course the all important smoke alarm always, and just going around adding a few cool plants and stuff just to make it look all a little bit more fancy. And then I decided to go in and put some more of the essentials like a dishwasher and stuff. I am a bit annoyed at myself because at first, if you saw, I tried to use a cool counter that wasn't really the kind of thing I'd usually go for, but I refrained from doing that and went back to using the same counters that I used in every build, I swear. One thing that's difficult when you get used to like building a lot in The Sims is not doing the same thing that you normally do, because it is so difficult, because you end up finding like a style or like a kind of swatch or a type of item that you really like, and it will end up showing up in all of your builds, which you don't want, because you want it all to look a kind of bit different and a bit more adventurous. So definitely working on that, as I've said, for the past 10 videos and haven't changed, but we're getting there. Hopefully we are getting there. But yeah, I spent a lot of time in the kitchen actually, not in real life, definitely not a good cook, but here I was just spending a lot of time kind of adding lots of bits and bobs on the walls, some knives, just you know, different things to spice up the area. And then I moved on to the little dining area. I probably could have had enough room to make a separate dining room. Even I could have divided this kitchen and made it a little bit smaller, but I think because of where I placed these stairs, I didn't really want it to be out in the living area, if that makes sense. It'll make sense when I'm building the living area, but I decided to put a cute little dining room table, which I really liked, and just kind of put it by the window at the back of the kitchen. I then decided to quickly go and choose all of my wallpapers, just because I don't know, the order I did this in was weird. At first I was like, okay, I'll like work room by room, and then I was just like, no, let me do all the wallpapers first, and then came back to the living room. As you can see, it took me a while. Did it take me a while this time? I feel like normally it takes me ages to find the perfect like couch, because I don't know, I'm not a big fan of the sofas and love seats in The Sims 4. I like the styles. I think it's just swatches, but I ended up going for this blue, as I made kind of the room quite turquoise, which I think was quite adventurous of me. Don't normally do that kind of thing, but I liked it. I think I might do it more. It's nice having like a little bit of a pop of colour in there. Just makes it a little bit more open and very bright and nice. And then this was kind of like a large living space that I constructed, just with a lovely bookshelf, a nice TV and a nice little couch setup. Nothing too fancy. And then going in with loads of plants, because you know me, and also a nice little rug. The thing I really struggle with for some reason with rugs is when you have a large living space like this, I want to have multiple rugs in there, but I find it weird trying to get ones that match and it not looking weird that there's two really different rugs in one room. I don't know why I find it really difficult, but I think I did end up being brave and putting two rugs in, and I also try to be a bit adventurous with the wall art, putting some cool paintings in and using some that I don't often use. There's some really odd paintings, to be honest, in The Sims. They're quite adventurous. I really do like the ones that have loads of like different swatches that changes the painting though. Whoever came up with that in the Sims 4 developer team, and whenever they started doing that, genius. I absolutely loved it. So for this little entranceway, I guess a foyer, that makes it sound so fancy. I really like having these kind of like end tables, but they're not really end tables. They're like the tall corridor tables. That's what I think they are in my mind. I see them in a lot of British houses, and they always have like a painting or a really nice mirror above that. So I thought I'd include that in the build because I think it looks really nice. And then I had a weird space here, which I could have used for a dining room now I'm thinking about it. But again, I just put it as a kind of little entranceway where you can chill. There's a little easel there. You can do a bit of painting, or you can sit down and read a book. I don't think I put another bookshelf here, but you can grab the bookshelf from across the room. Not grab the bookshelf, that'd be a bit chaotic, but grab a book and then come and chill here and have a nice read next to a cat plant, because why not? I've never used those plants in my life because I always find them really weird, but I was like, you know what, being adventurous with this build, let's put that weird cat succulent pot in there, because why not? But there I go, adding a few nice carpets. There are really nice carpets in The Sims as well. I really do like them. Some of them are a bit crazy and abstract. And then I was trying to find a nice doormat. Did I leave that? I think I left that in the end. God, I went crazy. 3 carpets in one room. Not carpets. Why am I calling them carpets? Rugs. There we go. Or a mat, I guess. Mat? No, a rug. I do like a good rug already. And then just adding loads of different bits and bobs. Did I leave that there? I think I did. I think I was just trying to like be a bit creative there. I was like, yeah, you know, like put a nice like book shelf, I can't use words right now, a nice suitcase with a book stack, that's what I mean, under there, and just kind of make it look like one cohesive piece to add to the house. Why not? Getting a bit adventurous, I don't know why. And then I went and changed the stairs because I was finding them really weird, and these ones actually matched with the type of arch I got for the kitchen, so I thought it was quite nice. And then just trying to find some matching railings, which is the worst because nothing seems to match, but I think I went with those in the end. And instead of surrounding the upstairs of the stairs, which doesn't make sense in a sentence together, with railings, I actually went with half walls, which is a bit of a switch up. I feel like I did that because Vixella does it, and I've been watching loads of her builds recently and feeling very inspired. And it only does her justice by including that in this build. Also, if you guys are familiar with her videos and her style of builds, by the end of this you'll see the exterior is very inspired by her. But I really did like it. It's something out of my comfort zone, and I think it looked quite cool. But speaking of out of my comfort zones, a very white bathroom. I tried to make it a little bit brighter because I don't normally go for bright kind of things. I go for like very natural and wooden and that kind of thing. But it was kind of like an old school kind of bathroom still, like very old style toilet and mirror, and I really liked it in the end. Also sizing down lights because I normally go for like a really nice pretty light and ignore these little ones, but I've never thought about downsizing lights because it doesn't change the brightness of them, I don't think, and they're pretty genius. Also, one thing I've learned from, who was it I watched someone, it might have been Plumbella, it might have been James Turner, but with going into real life play mode, sim mode basically, and adjusting the colour of lights, because there's loads of lights I really like but they're warm toned and so I never use them. I don't know why, I always like going with white lights for my builds, but you can always just change any light and their colour with just going into sim mode because you can adjust the lights, and I completely forgot that's a thing. So I'm definitely going to use that, although it is a bit of a pain unless you already have a sim on the lot and you're building, because you can't do it from build mode and it's a bit of a pain, but it's fine. Suddenly randomly moving upstairs now apparently, but I decided to have a master bedroom to be the main bedroom and the largest one, and then I had a teen bedroom and also a double twin toddler room for some reason. I think I was just really in my mind stuck on like I need to go out of my comfort zone and do really cool things, and so I kind of went with that. I was really quite happy with it, but you guys shall have to wait and see the final project and the final product. I mean, it was a bit of a project, to be honest. It did take a long time, but here in the master bedroom I thought I'd go for a very nice light wood look with some pastel bed sheets, absolutely gorgeous. And I found this little poof. There's a name for these, all right, but for some reason in real life I've always called them little poofs, like, because when I think of these I think of like the ones that are like soft material and they're kind of like, they look like what are they called, you know, the things you put pins in, a pin puff or something. I can't remember the name of this. I feel really embarrassed. But they remind me of those. And so I just call them poofs. So I put a little seat poofy thing in the corner, which I think was nice. And it used my favourite paintings because I can never resist using these. These are so nice. And then one weird thing was I had this tiny little room here attached to the master bedroom. So I thought, why not make kind of a makeshift walk-in wardrobe kind of thing? Because I feel like when I was younger, that's the thing I dreamed for. I was like, when I'm older, I'm going to have a fancy ass house. I mean, not going to happen. I was very ambitious as a child. But it's going to have a walk-in wardrobe and it's going to be very fancy. So that's kind of what I went for here. I wish there was more objects. I mean, there probably were more objects I could have thrown in there. And I'm pretty sure with, I don't know what pack it is, but there is a pack where you can actually get a wardrobe, which is like a massive, it's not massive, it's like a 2x2 room, but it like comes as an object. I can't explain it. Some of you may know what I'm talking about, others probably not. I mean, most of you probably not, because I am rambling. But anyway, moving on to the top bathroom, I decided to go with a very similar style but a different colour, because normally when I make bathrooms, I make literally a duplicated version, maybe a different shape, with the same stuff on the inside. So I thought I'd change it up a bit, just kind of like an ode to the style of the bottom bathroom, but slightly different, which I think was cool. And then I ended up actually having 3 bathrooms, but I don't know, it doesn't really count as a bathroom. It's more like a, no, it does, because I was going to say because it just had a toilet, but it does have a sink. But the little room adjacent to this one was just there, and I didn't want it to be corridor space, so I made it into a separate kind of like toilet sinky area. Here on the right, if you can see it, that little room, but you will see it instead. But you will see it in a minute rather. But I guess like with a house with 2, 4, 5 people, 2.5 bathrooms isn't too crazy, but maybe these guys were just kind of fancy and had a big enough house to have that many bathrooms, because why not? Why not? But now just adding some cool things to the corridor. I decided to have a little couch at the end here, which I thought was quite sweet. At first I got confused. I was like, wait, there's a balcony at the front, like overlooking the porch, and I completely forgot there needs to be a door there. But I forgot I put the door in the master bedroom, which I think was nice. Like the master bedroom, you have, I mean, it's I could have given it an ensuite, to be honest, but like instead of an ensuite, having a nice walk-in wardrobe and a balcony, which is very nice and fancy. One could dream anyway what their house is going to be like. This is basically, I mean, me building in The Sims, me vicariously living through like kind of what I want my house to look like, which is very sad. But I feel like everyone does that who plays The Sims and builds in The Sims. No, just me? I don't know. But yeah, I just was editing as I went the outside because I kept kind of like looking and not being happy with it at all, but I ended up changing what the outside looked like completely with a whole different colour of wallpaper, bricks and stuff, and windows, which is exciting. But here I was working on the team bedroom. I wanted it to look very like Victorian and posh and like fancy, and like, because this is the kind of style that I liked when I was younger. I was like, I really want like a fancy room and it to look all nice with white wood, but then I kind of wanted to still have the essence of, oh, it's for a teen, so I put some posters up and some cool stuff like that. Apparently I was trying to work a grandfather clock in there. Was not going to happen, definitely not. And then I was moving on to the toddler bedroom. At first I thought I'd do just for one child and one toddler, but it was pretty big of a room, I guess. Is it really? For me, I thought it was too big, and I was like, I'm gonna struggle to fill it, so I thought I'd have a little twin room, which I think was sweet, with just some nice little shelves and bits and bobs and toys. And oh my god, also I completely forgot, this isn't just a house for a couple, a teenager and two toddlers. It's also a house for a dog. Was it a dog or did I do a cat? I think a cat, a dog. I think it was a dog, but I put enough provisions to also have a pet in this house, apparently. I'm now realising that I feel like when I make builds I don't even consider, I use so many different packs. Like, people are not going to be able to download this from like this gallery and try and play with it or use it, because there's a whole lot of packs in there. One thing I might try and do in the future actually is try and do pack specific builds. And also I'm definitely looking into and planning on doing builds that have like build challenges, I guess they're called, where like you build a house but every room is a different pack and you can't decide what pack goes to what room, and it can be a bit of a nightmare, but you have to make do and try and make it work, which I think is really fun, and I'll try and do that very soon. I think those builds I've decided I'll do in like real time instead of a speed build, because I think when I watch those kind of videos, I enjoy the kind of real-time reactions of struggle and absolute just chaos of building a house when you're restricted with packs. So that will definitely be very fun to do. But now just kind of like adding loads of different carpets and rugs, not carpets. Why do I always say carpets? Also, actually, speaking of carpets, I was proud of myself because I actually made the bedrooms have carpet, and I never do it because for some reason in my head, I just think that rooms with carpet never look good for me when I try and make them work, and I always go for like wooden floors and then put a rug down. But I feel like this kind of worked, I guess. I'm second guessing it now because I'm seeing it, but I'm really bad. I never use carpets, and if I do, it's always this one, like just the beige, not very patterned, like minimally patterned. And yeah, I'm very basic. I like sticking to what I like. I need to stop doing that, I really do. But now just adding a few more bits and bobs to each bedroom, like little finishing touches, because I feel like it's hard for me to work room by room, because I ended up finding things that I'm like, oh my god, that would be perfect for a different room, and then I'm like, bam, on a completely different level of the house trying to sort something else out. My just attention span is not good enough to be like, I'm gonna focus just on this room and make it beautiful. But now making that weird little janky tiny bathroom, I could have made it a full bathroom, to be honest. There is enough room, but I thought that'd be way too weird because they're literally right next to each other. I probably could have planned out the layout of this house a little better in terms of the upstairs, but in the end I think it worked quite well. This is just kind of a little separate toilet area. I guess the kids could use this, and then the occupants of the master bedroom can use the massive bathroom or something like that. Yeah, or the teen could have its own room, because I guess toddlers don't really need a bathroom except for them to like wash them, but who cares? You can wash them in the sink. Is it just me? I feel like I'm making this up, but I remember The Sims 2, you were able to wash a kid in the sink. Is that? I need to look that up because I sound like a crazy person if that's not true, and sounds like someone who just can't have a child ever. Just the most irresponsible. Like, yeah, just chuck him in the sink, give them a good rub down and they're fine. Oh god. But anyway, moving on from that disaster, as you can see, just put in some bits and bobs for the dog in. So yeah, this is a pretty big build, to be honest, a massive contrast to what I normally go with, but I like it. It's more playable because what are the chances you just want to be stuck with a build fit for 2 or 1 person? Because I mean, you gotta get that family out and grow, because otherwise that's game over, mate. That is game over. But speaking of gaming over, I need to, these segues I'm finding them painful. I'm like, ooh, segue here. But I'm trying to figure out if I want my Rags to Riches to game over in the end, or I want it to carry on into another series. I'm really on the fence about that. But anyway, I need to sort that out in my brain. I will be coming with a new Rags to Riches episode as well. I feel like it's been a while since I filmed one. But one will definitely be coming up, maybe the next one. We shall see. See what Charlie and Kimber are up to. And Paolo? I'm being bad. I can't actually remember. No, I think she ended up with Paolo instead of Salim, but you guys who haven't watched that are probably very confused. But anyway, here, back into the speed build, I'm just doing the roof, and the roof is a definite Vixella kind of roof. I really liked how she does her roof normally. Like, this is kind of her go-to style, and I think it looks really nice. And instead of the brown, I decided to cop out and do white windows, which I always do. But do I actually, or do I go for dark wood? I think I do white or dark wood normally, but I thought the white contrasts really nice with the dark roof and the dark kind of, what is that called, like slates? They're kind of like roof tiles, aren't they, on the side of the house, which I feel like nobody has on the bottom of the house. Maybe on the first floor, but never on the ground floor. But I don't know, bit different. I think it looked quite nice, and just adding loads of different adjustments to the roofs, because with most of the shells, because they're quite complicated and different shaped, it's so hard to roof these things. But I was pretty chuffed. I think the roofs actually look quite nice. It looked quite nice and symmetrical at the front, which I was happy about, and gave me a little balcony I ended up doing. I think there was yeah, no, with the shell there was a balcony, I think. Well, room for one, or you could put a roof there, I guess. But I thought it was nice, a little kind of sitting space to overlook the front. That's one thing I've always wanted. When I was younger, I was like, Mom, can we move to a house where we have a balcony at my room? Which is never going to happen. Like, I feel like in England, you don't get that many, except from like new houses and new kind of apartment complexes. You don't really get that many balconies on houses. But again, one can dream, just dreaming vicariously through The Sims. But I went ahead and again, another Vixella flair, just added loads of nice flower beds, which I think is always such a nice thing to spruce up the front of your house and the surrounding exterior, just so it doesn't look too boring. And a nice little paving stone path, and then just adding the essentials like a mailbox and other stuff like that. And then I went into some landscaping, English, oh my god. I'm like, this is a long voiceover, man. I'm like struggling. But just adding loads of nice bushes and hedge trims and trees just to make it look a little bit fancy. I think I wanted to put a pond at the back, but I felt like that was going to be too much. The one thing I feel like I could have added was a patio or like a yard space at the back, because it's all very like open green. I could have had like a little barbecue area or something a little fancy like that. That might have been fun. But this is what I ended up going with, just a cute little green suburban family home, and I think on the outside it looked so nice. Again, very out of my comfort zone, and I don't know, I feel like this is a nice push in a good direction of trying to be a bit more adventurous with the exteriors of my house, making them a little bit bigger and furnishing them a little bit more different and out of my comfort zone, which I encourage everyone to do. I think it's nice. I feel like it helps you surprise yourself in what you're capable of building, because I definitely wouldn't have thought I could build a house that looks this good on the outside. But I hope you guys did like it. I really enjoyed making this, and I kind of want to do a few more shell challenges, and I actually might try and make a shell myself and challenge some of you guys who are up to it to try and use it and make whatever you can out of it. But that's pretty much it for today, guys. If you did like it, give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments what you thought of this build. Also, don't forget to subscribe to stay tuned for videos every Wednesday and Saturday. And that's pretty much it. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye!